wonderful award to our great Congressman Peter King.
Thank you very much. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here tonight, and I can think of no greater person to deserve the Ronald Reagan honor than our honoree tonight. He shares much in common with that great man. An Irishman, somebody who was concerned about the conditions in Northern Ireland when very few people were. A person who stood against the machines, ran for Nassau County Controller in a race he shouldn't have won, or at least that's what the pundit said. And he did, and he brought reform, and I'm sure George Maragos is taking notes right now. So you can wind up in Washington, George. I think we're ready for it. Absolutely. Peter King has devoted his life to the Republican Party, to serving our state. He is the single greatest voice on national security issues for the city of New York. He has testified over and over again to try to get us more money from Homeland Security. He has been there at the hearings. He has been there for the city. He has walked with our police commissioner, with our mayor, to talk about the disparity in funding that we receive in the city of New York. And throughout it all, a native-born son, a child of our community, he has never lost sight of the fact that he is first and foremost a New Yorker, even in Washington, D.C. Peter King started his public office career in 1977, where he ran for Hempstead Town Council. It has progressed through Nassau County government, the Controller's Office, and then on into the United States Congress, where he so ably serves us. Regretfully, he is not this year choosing to go on to the United States Senate, despite the fact that many of us would love to see him there. We do appreciate it. But our Congress could not possibly afford to lose him. So therefore, his decision is yet another example of his selflessness in these trying times. Congressman King is one of those few people who lives life the way he talks about it. He's not a hypocrite. He's one of those people who has consistently voted his conscience. You know, I'm going to bring up a Democrat for a moment, just to give you the idea of the breadth of this man's ability to reason and ration. He was the only one of two, I think, Republicans not to vote for the impeachment of President Clinton. He stood on his principles, his understanding of the law, and it's a testament to the independence of his way of thinking. He is truly somebody who goes to Washington, exercises his conscience, and makes sure that he delivers for his district. And Peter King is a credit to all of us, and an example of just how great a public servant can be. Now, Ronald Reagan, of course, the great communicator, is probably best known for the way he approached government. He disdained the press, made fun of them at every turn, and did a wonderful job in doing that. But more importantly, he looked everyone in the eye and he told them how he felt. He communicated to them a genuine sense of what it means to be a Republican. Ronald Reagan said that true republicanism is libertarianism. It is the goal of the Republican Party to get the government off your back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we need to do. We are at a crossroads. Our government has continued to spend beyond its means for decades. Our politicians, by and large, look to one thing and one thing alone, their re-election. And they do this by lining bills with pork, making sure that substance is never addressed, not considering the consequences to the long-term health of our economy, our public safety, or even our next generation's shortfalls. And today, all of those things have come home to us. We have problems in education, where our children are going to college not able to read. We have problems in security, where just last week we thwarted yet another attempt to have a bomb explode in the city of New York, the greatest city in the world. And why? Because we don't get our proportionate share of national security money. Peter King has been fighting that battle for us constantly, day in and day out. And more importantly, our government has become unresponsive to its people. We saw Congress pass healthcare reform. That was never a reform. They didn't address tort reform. They didn't address buying across state lines, true competition. What they did was the smoke and mirrors that they have done with every social engineering program since the turn of the century. And unfortunately, we find ourselves now in a hole, and that economic hole is getting deeper and deeper, and 4 years from now, once those effects come into play, we'll understand just how wrong this last Congress was. But Peter King has been there for you, and will continue to be there for you. Like Ronald Reagan, he is a bright light on the stage of Washington. He is someone who speaks his mind. He is someone who gives it to you straight. He's someone who understands what it is to be a working American. And he has never lost sight of that fact in his time in Washington. The Queens GOP is truly blessed to have him as an ally, a friend, someone who has been with us each and every step of the way. I know I speak on behalf of the chairman when I say that we are so proud of you and everything you have done for us. And I personally thank you for your efforts on our behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ronald Reagan Award recipient.